Watch until the end, and you'll finally understand why time stops, space warps, and reality collapses the moment you get too close to a black hole. You've heard the stories, black holes eat everything. But what they really do is break the universe itself. It's not just gravity that pulls you in, it's the slow unraveling of time. And here's the terrifying truth. Once you're close enough, time doesn't just slow down, it grinds to a halt. But how is that even possible? How can time, something we all experience, just stop? Let's dive into the madness. Starting with the event horizon, the point of no return. To you, falling in feels normal. Seconds tick by, but to anyone watching from the outside, you freeze. Literally, your last moment stretches into eternity. What they see is your body suspended at the edge of the abyss, never quite falling in. But from your perspective, you're already deep inside. That's the paradox. That's where physics starts to tremble. Time isn't just affected by black holes, it's annihilated by them. Here's where things get insane. According to Einstein's theory of general relativity, massive objects bend spacetime. And black holes? They bend it so far. They tear it. Imagine space as a sheet of fabric. A planet makes a dent. A black hole punches a hole through it. Now place a clock near that hole. The closer it gets, the slower it ticks. Until, at the very edge, it stops. This isn't fiction. This is time dilation, a proven effect of extreme gravity. So when we say, time stops at a black hole, we're not being poetic, we're being literal. But it gets even weirder. Because once inside, the rules flip. In normal space, time moves forward. In a black hole, time and space switch roles. That means your future becomes a direction in space, and falling forward is falling into time. Let that sink in. You're no longer moving through time. You're falling into it. Here's the hook. You don't fall toward the center. You fall toward your own future. Which leads to this haunting idea. Once you're inside, you can't escape, not just because of gravity, but because time itself is pushing you forward. You're not trapped in space. You're trapped in destiny. Still with me? Then let's go deeper, into the singularity. At the very center of a black hole lies a point of infinite density. Mass crammed into zero volume. That's not just dense, it's undefined. It's the place where our math breaks. Where physics stops working. And maybe, where reality ends. But here's the question that keeps scientists awake at night. What happens to you when you hit the singularity? Do you become part of it? Do you stretch into infinity? Or does your existence simply vanish? No one knows. Not NASA, not Hawking, not anyone. Because the laws of physics collapse there. Time stops. And so might you. Still watching? Good. Because the next revelation will flip everything. Black holes aren't just destroyers. Some scientists believe they may be creators. The singularity might not be a dead end, it might be a bridge. A tunnel through space-time. A wormhole. A portal. Which means falling in doesn't mean being crushed. It might mean being transported. But transported where? Another galaxy? Another dimension? Another universe? If true, then every black hole could be the seed of a new Big Bang. And yes, that would mean our universe could have been born from a black hole in another one. Wrap your mind around that. Your reality, the laws you live by, might be the byproduct of a black hole's collapse somewhere else. And that leads to a terrifying possibility. Maybe black holes don't just destroy reality. Maybe they recycle it. Let's pause for a moment and ask the big question. What does it feel like to fall in? Not theoretically, viscerally. As you drift toward the event horizon, you feel nothing unusual, no alarm bells. But then, slowly, gravity pulls harder on your feet than your head. You stretch, spaghettify. Your atoms unthread like a needle in a cosmic loom. But you're still conscious, still thinking. Time around you is so warped. You might see the entire future of the universe play out in a flash. Stars born, stars die, galaxies collapse. And you, still falling. Still diving into a future no one can reach. Now consider this. To an outside observer, you never cross the horizon. You're frozen there, a ghost image, fading into red light. This is what astrophysicists call gravitational redshift. Your light is stretched until it disappears. To the universe, you become invisible, but you're still inside. Alive? Maybe. Real? That depends on how you define real, when time itself no longer moves. And this brings us to the scariest truth of all. Once you're in, your fate is sealed not by choice, but by the geometry of space-time. You must move forward. You must fall inward. The black hole isn't just a trap. It's a timeline you can't escape. And no one, no probe, no signal, no cry, has ever come back out. Still with me? Because what comes next will haunt you. Some physicists now believe that black holes may store the information of everything they consume, not destroy it. That would violate the laws of quantum mechanics. So the theory goes, every particle, every memory, every shred of data, is encoded on the event horizon like a cosmic hologram. Which means when you fall in, you don't disappear. You become information, frozen, stretched, inscribed on the skin of the void. And here's the real twist. Some believe that information could, someday, be recovered. Not your body, but your data, your story. So maybe death in a black hole isn't annihilation. Maybe it's transformation. Maybe it's uploading to the deepest database in the universe. A record written in shadow and gravity. But even that offers no comfort. Because no matter what, you're gone from here. To us, you're a ghost trapped at the edge. Forever falling, never arriving. Time stopped. Reality broken. But what if I told you that's not the end? Some physicists believe that the singularity, the center of the black hole, may not be a point of destruction, but a point of creation. A bounce, a rebirth. The theory is called loop quantum gravity, and it suggests that the collapse of matter inside a black hole could eventually rebound, exploding outward into a new expanding universe. So the moment your timeline ends here, it may begin somewhere else. That means black holes aren't the final stop. They're a junction, a gateway between realities. And the idea gets even stranger. Some believe this entire universe might be the inside of a black hole. That the Big Bang wasn't an explosion out of nothing, but the birth of our cosmos from a black hole in another one. Which means what we call reality is just a layer. A room inside a much larger mansion of universes. So now imagine this. When you fall into a black hole, you're not dying. You're shedding one set of physical laws and entering another. And maybe, just maybe, consciousness finds a way to survive that journey. We don't know, but the math doesn't rule it out. Still watching? Then here's the question that breaks the minds of even the smartest scientists alive. If time stops outside a black hole, and space collapses inside, where are you? Exactly? The answer? Nowhere. And everywhere. You become disconnected from space-time as we know it. You don't just leave your universe, you leave the entire framework of measurement itself. You're no longer a thing in space. You're a fragment of data falling into an unknown computation. That's not science fiction. That's what the equations say. And here's the most disturbing part. None of this is hypothetical. Black holes are real. We've observed their shadows. We've seen stars orbit around invisible centers of gravity. We've recorded gravitational waves from black hole collisions. These aren't ideas. They're evidence. Proof that time does stop. That space does rip. That reality does have a breaking point. And every black hole in the cosmos is a reminder. There are places where our laws no longer apply. Places where our control ends. Let's step back and summarize the shocking truths we've uncovered. 1. Time slows down near black holes, and stops entirely at the event horizon. 2. From your point of view, you fall in normally. From the outside, you freeze in time. 3. Space and time switch roles inside, forcing you to fall toward your future, unable to escape. 4. At the singularity, physics breaks, and reality ceases to function by any known rules. 5. You may not be destroyed, but converted into information, stored on the event horizon. 6. That information could someday be recovered, meaning nothing is ever truly lost. 7. Black holes may lead to other universes, possibly even birthing them from within. 8. You could be living inside a universe that is the product of a black hole. 9. Falling into a black hole may not mean death, it may mean transformation, relocation, or even rebirth. And 10. Every black hole out there is not just a mystery, it's a message. A silent warning from the edge of what we know. But here's the part that hits hardest. if time can stop? What does that say about your time? If space can fold and tear, what does that say about your reality? Maybe life itself is more fragile than we thought, more temporary, but also more precious. Because if time is not guaranteed, then every second you're conscious is a miracle. And here's the deepest truth of all. Black holes don't just bend space. They bend perspective. They humble the ego. They remind us that no matter how advanced we become, there will always be things we don't understand, always forces more powerful than us. But that's not reason to fear. That's reason to wonder. Because behind the fear is the mystery. And behind the mystery is the beauty. So if this video made you think, if it made you feel small, or curious, or even slightly afraid, then do 3 things right now. Like this video to tell the algorithm you want more content that goes beyond the surface. Comment below. If you had the chance to enter a black hole, knowing time would stop and reality would break, would you do it? And why? And share this with someone who's ready to look beyond the stars and question everything they know. Because the black hole doesn't just erase light, it erases certainty. It's not just a monster in the sky. It's the ultimate test, a cosmic doorway. And someday, if we're brave enough, we might just find out what's on the other side. Hoi ChatGPT.